what are my thoughts on 1,000 Theta? Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, what do I mean by this? The other day, my friend asked me, is 1,000 Theta good enough? Now, this is not like 1,000 in terms of dollar amount, it's literally like 1,000 in terms of Theta, right? However, I can't actually speak on anyone's behalf, and I can't, just say, oh, it's good or not on anyone's behalf, right? I can only speak on my personal perspective, but the way to take a look at it is this. I wouldn't find that disappointing, personally, because if, let's say, Theta just went to even maybe the idea of $10, at that point, 1,000 Theta times 10, that's 10 grand, right? Now, some people may be thinking, why would you care about that? Well, first of all, if that's not the only thing I'm holding, it's not something I would necessarily complain about. And also on top of that as well, even though I'm not telling into anything, the way I view it is that even if, let's say, I saved 30% of that, so 3,000, right? And let's say I use that for the next cycle, and for whatever reason, during a make-believe scenario, in a next cycle type of, moment, right? It, for whatever reason, does a 10x, hypothetically. Then that 3 grand becomes 30 grand, right? And it's not something I would find too bad either during the next cycle if that is also not the only thing that I'm holding. So the way I view it is that it is not a disappointing amount, I feel like, and I can only speak on my perspective, but when it comes to Theta as well, and maybe the idea of $10, the market cap at that point would actually be exactly 10 billion, and that is because if we take a look at actually the current circulating supply of Theta, it is exactly 1 billion, which I find pretty interesting. It doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, but then it's pretty interesting to see such a simple current circulating supply, whereas, a lot of other projects out there, the current circulating supply is like 8.789 billion or something like that, right? But this one is pretty simple, but besides that, $10 is around a 17x from here. Now, the reason why this wouldn't necessarily surprise me is because, like a $10 billion market cap in the grand scheme of things, I get it. It is kind of a lot, right? That exact amount. But if we take a look at it just at a much larger scale, like let's say, considering what other projects have reached, it is not such a, I think, too massive of an amount, right? It's still a pretty big amount, but I don't think it's too massive. Because, for instance, we saw Shiba Inu reach around a $40 billion market cap back in 2021. It's like around 4 times this, basically. And again, that was like years ago. In the peak of the 2021 bull run, there was around 300 million crypto owners. We fast forward to right now, even, right? Without an altcoin season, I think, I haven't even seen one, I think, during this cycle. Again, there are supposedly over 600 million crypto owners currently, and that is allegedly more than ever before in history. And again, that's right now. If there was like an altcoin season, that's a different case. But we have that currently, so if there was an altcoin season, if it looked better than back then, in 2021, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But even besides that as well, what I like about Theta overall is the fundamentals, and I think this right here is crucial for me because when it comes to meme coin, of course, I'm not looking for the fundamentals in the use case, right? Even though I do believe in meme coins, but then at the same time, I don't only just want to hold that, I also do want to hold some projects that have an actually, I think, pretty substantial and good use case, which is why, I am looking at something like Theta, even though I'm not telling you to do anything, but let me explain what the fundamentals are of Theta quite simply, right? If I take a look at Theta, or should I say the Theta network, it's a blockchain-powered decentralized cloud for AI, media, and as well as entertainment. However, I think something that I do want to mention is that this could kind of be viewed as like a dual network design, so to speak, in a sense, because there's the Theta Edge network and there's the Theta blockchain. But yeah, besides that point though, if I take a look at the Theta Edge network, it does provide GPU. Now GPU stands for graphic processing unit, but besides that again, it does provide GPU compute power, for instance in AI, video, and as well as rendering. Now if we take a look at the Theta blockchain, right? On the flip side, it is an EVM, or should I say Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible multi-blockchain network that supports Turing-complete smart contracts. Now, if we take a look at this, right, Theta is also focused on decentralized video on demand and allows users to add decentralized video to any website or application. And the way to take a look at it is that it's more so kind of like the underlying blockchain and decentralized cloud infrastructure for AI, media, and as well as entertainment. However, even besides that as well, why do I think it's pretty interesting? Because before I talk about the AI market and all this type of stuff, I do first want to clarify as well that the Theta network, it does feature kind of like a dual token design, so to speak. There's like the Theta token, which I'm talking about right now. But then also on top of that, there's the, T fuel aspect, so to speak, or should I say Theta fuel. And the way you take a look at it, T fuel is kind of like the operational token of Theta. It's kind of viewed as like the gas token. But then besides that, why am I still excited when it comes to Theta? It's because if I take a look at the AI market, it is expected to be worth nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So that's pretty massive. Not to mention as well, if I take a look at, the media and entertainment market size, according to Mordor Intelligence, that's expected to reach over 40 billion by 2029. Not to mention as well, right? If we take a look at, Theta, we've seen historical partnerships, for instance, such as Katy Perry, American Idol, Lionsgate, and, some others as well. So I find it pretty interesting when it comes to Theta. And again, when it comes to it as a project, Theta is a pretty complete project. I do like what I'm seeing. And again, just the idea of maybe $10 wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but only time will tell. Now, $10 is around a 17x from here, like I mentioned earlier on the video. It's not going to be the best thing of all time. And how can it, right? I mean, there's projects out there with a way lower market cap than Theta. But my perspective is this. I am not looking for like a 1000x or something. That's not what I'm looking for. So automatically, I'm not even looking for a micro cap. But then if I take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, they've done very amazingly, right? But then if Ethereum went to 10 grand, less than a 3x from here. If Bitcoin went to 300 grand, that's also less than a 3x from here. Less than a 3x, it doesn't necessarily excite me. But then, yeah, that's just my point of view. I mean, I think Theta does fit that balance for me. I'm not telling to do anything, but it's just like a market cap, which is pretty okay, right? It's established, it has a good community. But then the market cap isn't way too massive, but it's not too small either. So again, I do like what I'm seeing here. And personally, the only thing I can do is stay patient, because if, let's say, an altcoin season even wants to start during this cycle, like, I'm not going to know the exact moment in time. The only thing I can do is control myself and just dollar cost average hold, and I just wait and just stay patient for a moment in time in which maybe even if the market does wake up in terms of altcoins, that's literally about it. Like, there's no way for me to know the exact moment in time this is going to happen in this moment. No, the only thing I can do is control myself. So whatever happens, let's say, arguably in the next 5 months, it's beyond my control. I have no control over the markets, right? The only thing I can do is control myself, and that's what I'm going to do. But I'm staying patient. I'm just holding and just waiting. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. But I want to say thank you for watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next one. It's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.